Hi, my name is Robert Drysdale, and now I'm going to show you guys how to attack from the back. Now, the back is probably the most dominant position in Jiu Jitsu and grappling overall. If you're used to watching the UFC, you'll probably notice that the most common submission is a rear naked choke. And that's not only for MMA, that is also for submission grappling tournaments. Now, there's a reason for that. There's something about back control that people have to understand if they're going to become good grapplers. Certain things that you have to know, things that you can and can't do, and you know, those are the things that you have to know if you plan on really mastering the grappling game. So I'm going to go on and attack Kabaka. I'm going to show you guys, like, first of all, the most common back attack is when I have two hooks in and I have a seat belt or upper body control. Sometimes we call it over/under. See this right here? Now remember, if my arm's attacking if I'm attacking his neck with my right hand, my head's going to be on my left side. You see this? If I were attacking over here, this is where my head would be. I try to bring my opponent as close as possible. I don't want to give him this space right here. If I give him this kind of space, this allows him to turn, it allows him to defend himself. I got to stay tight. Okay? And this is like a traditional back attack. See, I have two hooks in. I'm never going to keep my legs in too deep, and I'm never going to cross my feet. Alright? Now, if there's counters that Kabaka can do whenever I cross my feet. So although it may seem like it's a better position, it really isn't. He can throw one leg over my foot, lock what we call a triangle, like his right foot behind his knee, and all he has to do now is bridge. If he bridges, it becomes a foot lock. So you really don't want to cross your feet. If you're very flexible and you have small legs, you can cross your feet up, your legs up here. You see this? This is okay because now you can't lock that triangle over my feet. Okay, but it's still dangerous. So normally we're just going to keep our feet on his legs just like this. Okay, and this is the first form of controlling the back. Now the next one, what we call a body triangle. I'm going to lock my right foot behind this leg, and I'm going to lock my left foot behind my right knee. You see this? Now this is actually better control. A lot of people prefer this because it's harder for my opponent to escape this position. But one, it's harder to get. Okay? It requires like some sort of flexibility on your knees and longer legs. You know, it requires you going against someone your size or smaller than you. If you go against someone bigger than you, you might have problems getting this position. And another problem with this right here, although it is better control, is that it's harder for me to attack my opponent. Because later on, we're going to start doing submissions where I'm not going to be choking my opponent. I'm going to go for arm bars in different positions. And a lot of times, when I have this body triangle, what happens is I almost limit myself. I limit my movement. It's harder for me to move with this than it is with the hooks. So it's one of those things you want to, during the match, you want to figure out which one is going to be most efficient for you. And that may change, and depending on who you're going against, depending on what the score is or what you're planning on doing. So you want to have those two options. One of them is the body triangle. The other one are the hooks. Okay? Okay. Another thing about the back is, normally when I'm attacking my opponent, I'm going to attack him with the bottom arm. So if I have my right hand attacking his neck, I want to fall to my right. And this is my perfect situation to finish my opponent. Why? Because it's harder for him to escape. If I were attacking him with this arm, it doesn't mean I can't finish. It makes it a little bit easier for him to escape. And we're going to work on escapes later on. There, he's out of it. Later on, we're going to work on escape, but right now, that's not what we're going to do. So another thing I want you guys thinking about is, if I'm attacking him with my left arm, I'm dropping my left shoulder. Okay? This is even better for submitting than actually being flat on my back. I'd rather be on my side. Okay? Different way of controlling the back when I drop to my side is, for example, if I drop to my left, I know that my opponent wants to go to his right. He wants to move over there. So I'm not going to let him. So instead of keeping the hook, what I'm going to do is I'm going to cross my feet underneath his leg. Now, this right here in sport jiu-jitsu won't give you points, but it's better for keeping your opponent on his side. Because what this right here does is it prevents him from turning the other way. That's his way out. That's where he wants to go. I want to keep him right here. So by keeping my feet crossed, by locking this leg, I make it harder for him to turn over there. So although this won't score me points, it's better control. It's better to keep my opponent on his side. And it's just a different option. Once again, you want to have as many options as possible. The more, the better. So right here, cross my feet. Okay? And I can always go back to this if I want. Normally, if he's on his side, I like this right here. Okay? That's my third form of controlling the back. Next one. My opponent will be on his knees. I have both my hooks in. I'll be sitting on his lower back. The most common mistake people make here is that they're always falling over. You see this a lot. When people are attacking the back, they're falling over. You know, whenever I'm falling over, I'm always sliding off my opponent's back. So what I'm going to try to do is sit on his lower back, control his wrists, and make sure my head doesn't go beyond his head. So this is as far as I can go. I don't want to be beyond that. I want to be back here. It's just like I'm sitting on his lower back. This is my position right here. Normally when I have this position, what I'm going to be doing is I'm sprawling on my opponent. Once I sprawl on him, he's defenseless. I'll do it again. A very common thing. Again. Now, normally, when I go for a takedown or a sweep, my opponent a lot of times will go to his knees because he doesn't want me scoring those points on him. So we end up in this position. And that's how I start attacking the back from there. So I get one hook in, get the other hook in, I'll control his. I can stay here if I want and try to submit him. I can go to my side and we're going to work on all that, or I can just flatten him out. Push his wrist back in, sprawl on it. Okay? I make my hips really heavy, and now I can attack his neck, or do whatever I want and have him under control. Whenever I sprawl on his lower back, he really can't move. It makes it very difficult for him to defend himself. Okay? Different ways of attacking the back, different ways of controlling your opponent. Like I said, you want to have all of these options. You don't want to limit yourself. I only want to learn this, I only want to do that. The more options you have, the better.